So guys, welcome. We've been asked, I think some of you were asking to do a few things for Christmas. So what we have decided is I'll be showing you an alternative way of doing a turkey. I'll be doing a few different things with Brussels sprouts, and what I'm going to do now is a festival and nut Wellington for the vegetarians, and actually it's one of my own recipes, and it really is it's nice for everybody, and maybe you should try it. Now, it is a wee bit more complicated. Normally I try to do things a wee bit more simpler, but this time I've decided, do you know what, it's Christmas, it will blow your mind away. So what we start off with is the little stuffing, and it's mushrooms here. I have mixed nuts. Now you can use any kind of nuts you want, but it's going to be mixed nuts. Onion, chopped onion, some breadcrumbs, and unsalted butter. And look, I don't have fresh right now when we decided to do this, but rosemary and thyme as well, okay? So, and all of this is you start off, heat your pan, and some butter. Now you can make as much of this or as little as you want. In the recipes that I will send out to you, I think I've made enough for about 6 or 8 people, okay? So what we're going to do is roughly 50 grams of butter. I'm just going to melt that. I had the pan on, so it shouldn't take too long. So when we get the stuffing done, we'll cool it down, and then what we'll do is it's like a potato and vegetable mash we'll be making, and what that is beetroot, broccoli, sweet potato, curly kale, and a little bit of garlic. And then what we do is we slightly cool everything and we'll layer it up. But you shall see it as it progresses. So I'm just going to add in some onions here. It's about a half of a small onion, 3 or 4 mushrooms. Now, when you're making stuffing, it's not exact. You don't need. It's not like bacon or anything that you need the exact quantities. It's just some people might like a lot of mushrooms, but they might like a lot of nuts, or more onions or less onions. So just adapt it to whatever way you like. So all you're doing is soaking off the onions and mushrooms to start with in the butter, and I'm going to add in some thyme, about a teaspoon of each. Just like to get those flavours in. And then you can buy the nuts, you can use any nuts you prefer. I'm just using a bag of mixed nuts. And what I will say is just keep a few back, just for garnishing the puff pastry at the end of this. So all you're looking to do here now is just make sure everything's cooked out before you add in your breadcrumbs. I'm just going to add in it's 75 grams, maybe about 50 grams of breadcrumbs. If it's too wet for you, just add a wee bit more in. Now, although this stuffing I'm using for our festival Wellington today, you can use it for anything. It's actually would be ideal. Made it and put it into aubergine, half an aubergine, really nice. You get the nutty and the mushroom texture out of it. So guys, that's the stuffing. All I have to do now is put it through the liquidizer to blend it. Now, if you wanted, you could leave it like this and you would have the real nuttiness, but I just think it's too much. So what we'll do is we'll blend it, but not blend it fully. It should be fine. So hopefully you can see that now. Okay. So guys, that's it there. Just blend it. I haven't blended it completely, just to leave a little crunch in it. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. And now what we'll do is for the potato and vegetable mash for the Wellington. So all that is basically, we start off with sweet potatoes. It's peeled, washed, slice them up. All we're going to do is cook them. It should take about 10 minutes. So what we do is we start off with sweet potatoes. Then after about 3 or 4 minutes we add in some broccoli. Then when the potatoes are ready, the broccoli will be ready. Then we add in the kale and the beetroot and we mash it all up. So it's pretty easy steps. So it's starting off with sweet potatoes. Start them for 3 or 4 minutes. Then add in your broccoli for another 3 or 4 minutes. Then your kale, and last but not means least is your beetroot. And it'll be all ready at the same time. And what we do is we drain it, mash it up. You can use a masher or you can use, we had talked about a potato ricer. You can, ideally to be honest, we just use a little hand mixer because you still want a wee bit of lumps in the potatoes just to give the crunchiness. So I'm just going to go and do all that. So that's all our ingredients, guys. So what we're going to do now is start off by cook the pastry. The shop roll pastry is all the same size, so basically roll it out and cut it in half. So that's all I'm going to do. And put it onto a baking tray. Lightly greased already, okay, which is here. Just going to set this one at the side. You can start laying it up now. The whole idea is you have different contrasts. This, so what I'm going to start is with the roast red pepper. Now you can roast your own peppers, but I use a lot of the shop bought jarred or roast peppers. It's so much handier than buying your own. So then what we're going to do is aubergines. Now they're just finely sliced and marinated, and the reason why I haven't cooked them is to give them that little bit of crunchiness whenever they come out of the oven. So that's aubergines. Now next we use some stuffing. You can use as much or as little as this as you want. I know this seems a wee bit more complicated than a few things that I have done before, but it's really well worth it. So hopefully you can get that in camera. You can see all the contrast. Next now is the aubergines. Just like that. And they're just marinated the same way as courgettes. And last but not least is your potato mixture. Sweet potato and vegetable mixture, sorry. So you're getting a wee bit of everything. in your Wellington. Okay. And then what we do now is put the puff pastry on top. So just before we put the top of the puff pastry on, guys, we are going to a little bit of egg wash around just to seal all our ingredients in. So that's that. And then puff pastry on top. And now, just don't be afraid, it looks still a bit smaller. And what you're looking to do is squash it down and then push it out. That's what you're going to do then. Once you get it all sealed. Yep. Perfect. Is use a fork just to make sure. Okay. Let's do that quickly. Now. And then now on the top, just a wee design. You can do whatever wee designs you want. The pastry here right now is just a little bit soft because it's been sitting for while we've been doing this. Now you don't have to put the nuts on them. Just think it adds a little bit of dimension to our dish. Right, and the thing is, guys, you could prep this the day before and sitting ready for the oven. So that's it. A little bit of egg wash just over everything. There we go, nuts and all. Don't be afraid to push in the nuts into the pastry. Make them stick. And that's my version of a festival Wellington with mushroom and nut stuffing. Right, guys, this is just out of the oven, so I'm going to put it on to the chopping board and to cut it. So if you get a palette knife and a fish slice just to lift off. Now, I'm just going to slice a nice portion. Normally, the end of it, you can slice it as big or as small as you want, okay? So I'm just going to slice it like that, and I just have a wee bit of curly kale, just as a wee garnish. And that's it. So that's your vegetable and nut beef Wellington. And a wee bit of parsley, just to garnish, and that's us.